But there's only 2 of them.
They took out an entire fleet.
Well, it looks like I was right. I never argued that. All I said was maybe we should go out and get them. This is much easier. I mean, why go to your enemy when they can come to you? Alright, I can't argue with that logic. Well, want to do the honors and juice me up, my dear bard? Magic and speed, right? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Freeze! Hands in the air!
See, dude? This is so much easier. Why go to them when they can just come to us? Sure enough. Now, however, let's do this.
Ball! Terrestrial torrent!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't know what the hell you are yet. Hopalong PR here, and today we are tackling the awesome series of Legend of Heroes Trails to Cold Steel 1 and 2. And Aidios help me, this one's gonna be huge. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. This huge.
So I'm going to assume that you don't know anything about this monster of a game. So for the best experience, I will not have any explicit spoilers. That being said, I will say the flow of the games and what happens in a general sense.
So if you've ever played a JRPG before, you know what you're getting yourselves into. Extreme events, giant demons, magic, ancient civilizations, plotting, masterminds, and the rarely seen romantic relationships. This game's got it all. Although, just gotta say, this game hits all cliches like it's no one else's business. Like goddamn cliche hidden machine.
So for kicks, I looked up a list of JRPG's cliches, and I found a list of about 200 of them. So here's a brief list of all the cliches this game has. And despite what you may see in front of you, this game's story is absolutely fantastic. Like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter had a love baby game. That would be the Legend of Heroes games.
I make no exaggeration when I say that this game franchise has the best world, lore, and story building and character building I have ever seen in any game franchise, and it's awesome. I have not been used to such extravagant and elaborate means to build the world, because it's had 6 games to build upon one world, the lore, and technically there are 3 different stories going on there, but that's neither here nor there. The first 3 games are part of a series called Trails in the Sky. They're technically prequels to Cold Steel, but you could just jump into Cold Steel 1 and be perfectly fine without playing the other 3.
So we kick the series off with the main character fitting a cliche, and he's about 16 years old at a new school. And pretty much as soon as you start the game, big things happen. Well, yeah, but how about this? And from there, it's on.
So yeah, the game revolves around you and your class going around your home empire and helping people. Erabonia. Anyhow, your class is a special mix of commoners and nobles, because Erabonia runs on a class system, and you can guess that is going to be a cause for stress, tension, and trouble.
So, if you didn't already guess, the game's overall arcing point is... But with the country and the state it's in, war breaks out with a simple long-range sniper shot to the heart. Like you do in these games. From there, your class's goal is to protect the students from their school, as well as their own family members. Again, par for the course in JRPGs. Throw in a couple of missions from the government to take down super duper scary guys, and a dead parent or 2, just for good measure. Get those cliches in there.
So that's all the plot I'm gonna tell you about. I feel like if I said any more, I'll be robbing you the experience. That's all you need to know. However, for the plot, it's also enriched by the NPCs. Yeah, I know. NPCs are actually relevant and important in this game. I was just unused to it because they offer little bits of lore, little tidbits on characters, and hidden goodies or hidden lore that you may not be able to find elsewhere.
That brings me to the first point I want to gush over, the side quests and side stories. As you play, you'll have the obvious side quests here and there, but there are plenty of side quests that are hidden. To find those, you need to talk to the civilians. It doesn't tell you right away, but you get plenty of perks for your trouble. As you do all the side quests, you get points and get ranks on how many points you have. If you've done nothing but the main plot stuff, you'll get some stuff. But the really cool stuff is in the higher ranks, which can be reached rather quickly for all the side quests. It's like extra credit that you desperately need in that one class you're failing, or have failed. You know the one.
Now, by today's standards, this game is not necessarily huge, but it is flowing to the brim with awesome. Every spot, every town, every NPC has a reason. They didn't waste anything. The developers knew how to make a dense world and how to make it feel wide, for lack of a better term. And I did a playthrough of Cold Steel and Trails in the Sky, and after my Trails in the Sky playthrough, I got ripped several new ones because I wasn't used to relevant NPCs. Anyhow, let's move on to the combat system and, the path of genocide that the protagonists can walk and get away scot-free. Your battle system revolves around two things: your Arcus unit and Orbital Quartz. Now, the Arcus unit is special because it doubles as a cell phone. Yeah, I'm not joking. It makes several plot points actually feasible. And I just want to say that this is a weird period in time because there is vast farmlands, their horses are viable transportation, but there are cars around for like the nobles. There are also giant robots, mini robots, tanks, and the internet. But those are kind of in dense areas, not spread out throughout the continent. It's weird, I know.
The second thing I wanted to say is the Arcus units and how they operate in combat. First of all, you set up the Arcus units with things called Quartz. With Quartz, you can customize your characters for combat however you want. You want a warrior that instantly inflicts enemies with frozen status, armor debuffs, and delay their attacks with a simple swing of their sword? Easily done. Want an adorable battle mage that unleashes complete and utter chaos? Done. Don't forget to bring the plushie with her.
Another thing in combat is that you can link your characters together to get little perks here and there, whether it be an extra attack, some healing, cures of ailments, or boost of magic. They can all unlock slowly if you battle with that character more and more. Or you can do some bonding events with them. And yes, there are some intimate bonding events.
This game also gives opportunity to bond with your party members at certain times. These bonding events can reveal character elements of your own party members. These events can range from plotting flowers, sword fighting, swimming, and getting distracted by boobs. You are a high school boy after all.
So I could just sit here and ramble on how much I love this game, but I've saved the best part for last. The lore. The lore that's been building between all of these games. And when it comes to the lore and lore building, there are two main players in the game. First is Ouroboros, and the second is the church.
So if you couldn't figure it out by phonetics, Ouroboros are the bad guys. But they aren't the main bad guys for most of the games. They're merely pulling the strings of those doing everything. They supply war tools and machines to make sure certain things happen. Members of Ouroboros are wide-ranging, but are all powerful and obey a Grand Master and his plan. What that plan is, we have no idea. Other than obeying the Grand Master, they're pretty much free to do whatever they want. Even fight each other on opposing sides of a war.
So I love Ouroboros because they do so much. They kind of push along and supply the antagonists of the games with simple machinery and, magic and complex machinery and the sort. You can only find out information about certain Ouroboros members or ideas or plans by talking to certain NPCs or reading certain documents. Told you they were important. Now on the other side of the Ouroboros coin is the church.
So on the surface, the church is basically like churches in this world. Every town has one. There are priests, sisters, and normal stuff. However, there are secret members of the church that are very powerful warriors, to compare to Ouroboros members. It's worth noting that these two organizations aren't necessarily opposing forces. They each have their own agendas. The church is to gather artifacts that are considered blessing of the goddess Aidios, so that they're not necessarily being used for chaos. Ouroboros wants these artifacts too, so they're more like children trying to find the same toy and fighting over who gets it.
So members of Ouroboros and the church are present throughout the games, but more or less, they're just kind of doing their own thing. Just doing themselves, not really caring that much of your overall goal. Which is nice, but it's a little, what's the word I want to use? Unsatisfying. Because you want to know everything. This game franchise builds you up with so many questions and you don't get any answers. But that's why we love them. So anyhow guys, I'm gonna stop this review right here. Go play the games. They're fucking fantastic. I highly recommend them. And I need your help with something. For my next review, I am torn between two different things. Either a review on Persona 5 or a review of Ed, Edd n Eddy, one of my favorite childhood cartoons, if not the favorite childhood cartoon. So, if you have anything you want to say, make some noise down in the comments below, and thank you guys for staying weird.